For more on the impeachment this morning, the impact on the president's trade agenda, I want to bring in our guest. Joining us right now is Sen.Rick Scott. Good morning to you, sir. It's nice to see you.
Good morning.
You know, we've all been trying to assess today what this impeachment means. I know where you stand on it, but what do you think it means politically?
I think it's a waste of time by the Democrats. He's not going to be convicted in the Senate. We're not going in the Senate. We're not going to allow in hearsay evidence. That's all they did in the House. I mean, the only person here that's been transparent is Trump. He put out the transcript of the call that they said was so bad, and it wasn't. So if they vote today, we'll have the trial. Both sides will present their case. We'll take a vote, and that'll be over. We're not going to allow the hearsay evidence that they did in the House. So I think it's a waste of time. They should be doing things like secure the border, maybe pass a budget where people have time to look at it, do something on drug prices. But the Democrats in the House, they don't care. This is just a partisan. And they hate Trump.
Are you of the view that this ultimately helps Trump's reelection?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, the thing that helps Trump's reelection the most is the economy. I mean, I can tell you from Florida, our economy's on fire. He's going to have a big win in Florida. But I go home. I see people on Mondays and Fridays and some on the weekends, and they're not even talking about this impeachment. It's just not a big event to the normal person. They're out working their jobs or worrying about their kids' education. So I think it just appears, I think, to a lot of people that this is just partisan. People hate Trump. They've hated Trump all along. As Joe said a second ago, they've started this impeachment process years ago, and this is just another step in it that ultimately he's not going to get convicted in the Senate.
Senator, can I ask just a question? And maybe I don't know if it's a personal question or not, but it feels to me that, and I understand the position you take on the impeachment issue, but one of the things that I've found fascinating about this whole process is, and we've known each other a long time now, I have to imagine there are elements of this situation that. No. There are elements of this situation.
You're a moral guy, an ethical guy. How do you look the other way for all of this horrible stuff?
Can I try to ask the question?
I hear it every time.
You know the question. No. I imagine there are elements of this that must trouble you. I have to think there's some elements of it that trouble you, and yet
never gets old.
You and many of your peers seem unwilling to acknowledge them. But I actually wonder whether not acknowledging them actually hurts the case on the other side.
Well, let's think about it. But the test is high crimes and misdemeanors.
No. For impeachment, yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you can. I mean, let's think about it. You can like or dislike Donald Trump. You can like or dislike how he does his tweets. You can like or dislike, the conversations he has, and he's involved in so many different issues. But the bottom line is, this is an impeachment trial. There's high crimes and misdemeanors, and you have to think about it that way. You don't let hearsay evidence in. I mean, it's a trial, and that's all they've done. I mean, the only person that's been transparent, again, is Trump. And so this is just a partisan fight. And in the meantime, we don't pass budgets on time.
I will say one thing. The people who do know, who it's not hearsay, have not testified because the administration won't allow them to.
Well, but let's stop and think about it. Every administration, you can go back to all of them, they have the opportunity to defend themselves. That means they can go to court and do that. What the House has said is they don't want to take the time, they want to rush this through. They could have waited like they did in other cases, but they didn't.
They even withdrew a subpoena. They didn't want to wait. They could subpoena all those people, they'd have to show up. And now Schumer wants to turn the Senate into the evidence gathering phase instead of the.
McConnell's point is that the House didn't do it properly.
The House.
Well, no, they proved that he didn't do anything wrong. There's no evidence. It's all hearsay. I mean, they could have done their job, take the time if they really believe something happened here, but they didn't. I mean, because I think they believe that Trump is going to win in 2020, and they're just trying to rush this through to try to impact his election, or maybe take him out because they're scared to death. They just want to change the results. So, I mean, it makes no sense what they're doing.
So you sleep okay at night? I mean, your conscience is I'll help you. Your conscience is actually clear?
My conscience is clear.
Come on.
I'm very comfortable.
Are you able to look at your kids?
That's Joe there, by the way.
No,
Senator.
That's me talking.
And I have grandkids.
I'm channeling.
Senator, I wanted to pivot the conversation.
You don't go to church anymore.
Senator, stop it. Senator, I wanted to actually pivot the conversation to a different place, actually, and get your thoughts about Mayor Bloomberg's entrance into this race. And the reason I ask is because he comes from the private sector, had a successful career. You came from the private sector, had a successful and accomplished career. How do you view him? Could you see yourself supporting him?
Well, first off, you look at his career. He's been very successful. Mike's been very successful. I've known him a long time. The issue he has is he's running in a primary that is a bunch of socialists now.
No, but I appreciate
that's hard.
the
I don't know how
politics
he can
of it.
get there.
I'm asking you, Senator, given your own politics in life, and also I think your support of people who are both competent and accomplished, I'm asking you, would you ever give your support to Mayor Bloomberg? Because in many ways, he seems much more aligned, at least in my mind, to you in certain ways than our current president.
Here's where I think Mike has a problem. What do we know about? What's the thing most Americans know about him? He wanted to tell us the size of soft drinks we can drink.
Or climate change and gun control. Which of those things does Senator Scott believe in? Climate change, gun control, and nanny-state. Which is his most favorite out of Bloomberg's positions? What about Bloomberg does he like again?
While, look at what happened in New York while he and de Blasio have been mayors, and I was governor of Florida. People flocked out of there. They didn't reduce taxes. They didn't reduce regulation. They didn't make it easier to get permits. The things that make businesses want to grow and create jobs. That's not what he did. And we all know
Mayor Bloomberg.
He's running as
de Blasio. I can have this conversation with you about.
They came to Florida under Mayor Bloomberg. I recruited them. Absolutely. This didn't just start and just. It went my entire 8 years as governor. And so, but you look at climate change. We all know, the climate is changing. But what do you do about it? What's the solution? You do things like I did. You build a good economy so you can invest, so you can solve these problems. And so, you look at it, and I know he can't get through a socialist primary. You got to believe that you take everybody's money and redistribute it. That's what socialism is, and that's what the Democrats are doing now. I believe in capitalism. I grew up in a poor family. I want to have the same chance for everybody.